All right, good evening, everybody. So tonight we're going to run some tests with the new portable power station. We're going to see how well it actually works and if it works for what I built it for. So if you've been following along, we went through and we actually built a portable power station out of basically the old components that I had in my barn that I used to get started in this entire solar arena, I guess. I had a 12-volt system in my barn with 480 amp hours, and I've got 280 amp hours so far in the portable power station. So I'm trying out this new microphone thing. I was trying for the longest time to not have to get one of these external microphones. But after last week's video and just fighting with the audio between the two cameras, I figured it's time I had to bite the bullet. As much as I don't like it, hopefully it'll help out a little bit better. So I want to go upstairs. We're going to get a weight on the portable power station. Then we're going to take it outside. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the unit itself before we get started. And I'm also going to have to, in the spirit of full disclosure, reveal at least one change I had to make. So let's head upstairs, find out how much this thing weighs, and let's see if this whole power station works for one of the big use cases that I had for it. So no cheating, no fast forwarding now. But what do you think the weight of this power station is? Remember, it's a fairly decent sized rigid case. We've got 280 amp hour cells inside, an inverter, charge controller, BMS, and a couple pieces of wood for separators. So out of all of this, what do you guesstimate the weight to be? All right, what do you think the weight's gonna be? Hold it at an angle. 91.8. 91.8 pounds. That is a heavy beast. And I actually looked up the EcoFlow Delta Pro, I believe, is actually around 90, is it 96 or 98 pounds? So this is pretty close to being on par with that unit, at least weight-wise. And this ground is by no means level or smooth. The horse eats back here and ends up rutting up a lot of the ground, but this is rolling very, very well. I am very happy at how this rigid toolbox is actually handling all these bumps and dips and sticks. Hi, Jack. So this is a portable power station that we put 280 amp hour prismatic cells, and they are down underneath the wood over there. We've got a 2200 watt pure sine wave inverter right down there, a 200 amp JK BMS. We have I believe it's a D-Rock current sensor column meter. It's like a 7-in-1 meter, and that's down in there as well, and that's tied to this relay. The relay is used for my overcurrent protection. We've got our 200 amp fuse block, and then down there I have a Victron 15035 solar charge controller. And then we've got our active cooling, control and fans, and then controls on the front. So I mentioned that I was going to have to fully disclose something. When I went to charge this up for the first time, I hooked it all up and started charging. And I was looking at it and I'm like, why is the meter counting down when it's charging? And I realized that I had the meter actually backwards. So the instructions on this meter are atrocious. They're really bad. They don't tell you how to calibrate. They don't tell you the direction that the meter is supposed to be going. There's an arrow on top, but that's about it. So you have to actually look through other people's comments, other reviews to figure out how to program this thing. But you can see right now we're at 86%. So out of the tests that I've run this morning, I've used just shy of 15% of the battery. In fact, I'll show you a couple of these tests that I ran real quick. The first one was, the tried and true 100% necessity for power outage. Got to make sure that you have your coffee. And so I tested that this morning. It worked great. The second test, I recorded a little video on, so I will show you that right now, but I wanted to see if our air compressor was going to work. I wanted to see if this thing was going to work. We're doing some renovations in one of our bathrooms, and I thought, well, let's see if the air compressor, which, typically air compressors have problems running on a lot of these little things. Let's see if the air compressor runs on our little power station here. I am not optimistic, but we're going to see if it actually does. Little Porter and Cable Pancake's compressor, and we've got 2 amps being drawn so far. So let's flip the switch. Currently I have 150 amp max set in the current sensor, so if it detects over 150 amps, the relay should trip before the BMS actually shuts off. If the red light goes off, the BMS tripped. Let's find out if it works. Well, I turned it off just because it's very noisy, but I'm pleasantly surprised. It actually worked. So far, things have been working very well. I have really been pleasantly surprised. Now, the only thing that I haven't done with this yet is I have not actually gone through and terminated the solar connections. And obviously, it's such a sunny day outside right now, I could really test all that solar capability. We're getting that wildfire smoke from Canada right now. It's really kind of stinky out here. The meter in and of itself, it's a cheap meter, so I kind of get what I'm paying for. I really just wanted to test this relay aspect. So would I use the meter again? I don't know. If I did not use this meter and the relay, I would probably mount a circuit breaker in the sidewall over here, and then I would get the display for the actual JK BMS and mount that right here. It looks like a nice little touchscreen display, which would give me all the BMS values, which would kind of be nice. But I wanted to see how well this relay was actually going to work. So right now, I'm to the point that I want to see if it's going to run this saw. I honestly don't know. I have not gone through and tested this to see if it was going to work. I wanted to do this on camera and, have you guys kind of experience with me. Will this power station run this saw? because I've got a couple of limbs right here that need to get trimmed off. I've got a few over here that need to get trimmed off. And while I won't take you the entire way around, I've got trails going all the way out there. So we are currently, as I said, we are currently at 86% battery with one camera still being charged. And that'll be the camera that I have on the display itself. So let's find out if this is going to work. Well, let's see if it works just on its own. So our current discharge is 1.8 amps. We're at a continuous discharge of around 51 amps. There was a surge. I didn't see it. I'm sure the camera caught it. I want to say it was up to like 160. But without putting any force on it, it works. So now let's see if we can actually cut a couple of these limbs and clear some of this head knockers, really, so that Jack doesn't try and scrape us off when we try and go for a ride. All right. I think I'm going to need a ladder for some of these other ones. Well, I'm not exactly sure how much you could see from where you were at, but that last limb was a whole lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. And it came down and it put a nice little tug on the fence line. So now I've got slack someplace that I shouldn't have. And it also hit the ladder and busted this piece off of it. Which should go right there. So I should probably wait until somebody else is home so they can actually pull stuff away from the ladder when it's that high up. But I might be able to do some of these over here. But you guys don't need to come along for that. The proof of concept works. I am, again, overly surprised at how well it actually worked. The surge was expected, but it leveled right out around, what, 50 some amps, 55 amps? So I think this is going to be a nice little power station. And the nice thing is, you know, when I go all the way back out there, I don't have to run extension cords. I also don't have to haul the generator out there. Yeah, bugs are driving me nuts right now. So I know, you know, I've had some comments that, you know, I could have put all the batteries in one case and I could have put all the other equipment in another case. And I still could. it's just one of those things that I kind of wanted everything in one unit. Now I'm paying for that, being it at almost 100 pounds, but it's still all self-contained in one unit. Oh, one thing I forgot. So I did end up putting on my quick disconnect for my Victron 12-volt charger right onto the back of the terminals as well. I really wish that I had a little more room in here, that I didn't have to stack all these different pieces on here, but it should work for now. It's only a 10 amp charger. I'm probably going to take this for now and actually put it downstairs and run my computer equipment off of it, because then I know I'm not going to have to deal with the pesky switching back and forth of the UPSs when solar kicks in hard, or when a hard surge comes in on the 6500s, because those are, I should probably put my light on it too, because my office light keeps blinking. You know, it does the not flicker, but it's a blink when there's a big surge, or when solar's really ramping up or really ramping down. You get that surge, and so the light does that flicker thing. So maybe I'll just put my computer, the UPS, and the lamp on this power station and just see how long it runs. I mean, at 280 amp hours, it should run for quite some time. And I try and put everything into sleep mode at night anyways, so I'm not wasting that power. But I'm happy. It's worked out a whole lot better than I thought it was going to. And so I'm gonna let y'all go so that I can try and finish some more of this brush trimming. So with that, y'all stay safe, stay cool, and we'll catch up with you later.